Time is not a straight road in the old stories of Tamriel. It is a tide. It folds around islands, memories, towers, and the small breath of a listener resting in the dark. Tonight, we follow that tide toward Artaeum, the vanished island of the Psijic Order. The old maps place it near Somerset, yet the wiser answer is always less certain. Artaeum is not merely hidden by distance. It slips from ordinary reach, appearing and disappearing from history like a thought that refuses to be held too tightly. The Psijics are said to have walked the old ways long before the schools of magic were named and sorted. To them, power was not only spellcraft, it was mediation. It was the careful listening between mortal will and the vast pattern of the abyss. Imagine the first sight of the island, pale stone above a quiet sea, glassy light on the water, and a silence so complete that every small sound seems chosen. A step on a path, a sleeve brushing against carved stone, a low chime in the air, not ringing from a bell, but from some temporal anchor set deep below the tower. As we arrive, breathe slowly. Let the waves set the pace. Inhale as the shore comes forward. Exhale as Artaeum draws away again. The order teaches by concealment as much as by instruction. To enter its story, we do not break the veil. We become quiet enough to notice where the veil has already opened. Within the order's halls, silence is not emptiness. It is a material. It rests in the walls like polished stone, gathers beneath arches, and settles around the hands of those who have spent lifetimes studying without display. The Ceporah Tower is remembered as the heart of Artaeum, a place of instruction, retreat, and watchfulness. We should be careful with certainty here. The Psijics preserve many truths by keeping them unspoken, and the lore gives us outlines more often than blueprints. But that uncertainty suits the subject. A tower of the old ways would not need to announce itself. It would teach through proportion, resonance, and patient repetition. The order rejected the vanity of power used only to dominate. Their magic was older in spirit, less a weapon than a conversation with hidden structure. They listened for the forces behind forces. They studied how thought, spirit, memory, and time meet before they become visible events. Picture a corridor where the stone seems to remember every footstep. A meditation cell where a candle burns without hurry. A library chamber where scrolls are touched with the care one gives to sleeping things. Beneath the narration, the sound of stone should be soft, a low grain, a smooth scrape, a patient brushing of hand against hand-carved walls. Each texture tells the body that it has arrived somewhere protected. In this architecture, the listener does not need to chase revelation. Revelation is allowed to approach at the pace of rest. The Psijic Order is most unsettling when it stands near time, not because the monks are always shown hurling time like a spell, but because their presence suggests a deeper patience with causality itself. They are watchers of consequence. They know that a single intervention can become a river, and that a river can become an age. In Elder Scrolls lore, time is already fragile. Dragon breaks, prophecies, Elder Scrolls, and divine contradictions all remind us that history is not a clean line. The Psijics move through that uncertainty with discipline. Their power is not simply the fantasy of changing the past. It is the burden of seeing too much pattern too early and choosing when silence is wiser than action. Imagine a chamber where a ritual slows the dust in the air. A candle flame bends, then pauses. The echo of a footstep returns before the foot has fully touched stone. This is the sound design of chronocraft. Delays that stretch without becoming loud. Soft reversals tucked beneath the voice. A shimmer that seems to arrive from both ears at different moments. The ethics matter as much as the technique. If one can nudge a thread in the tapestry, when should one refuse? The Psijics are not absent because they are indifferent. Their non-intervention is a severe kind of attention. Yet the old tales also remember exceptions. When the balance between mortal and divine is threatened, the order may step from concealment, act with terrifying precision, and vanish again before the world can turn gratitude into dependence. Scrying is the art of looking without grabbing. That distinction is important. To see a possible future, an old danger, or a hidden path is not the same as owning it. The Psijic temperament asks the seer to become transparent enough that the vision can pass through without being bent by fear. Some traditions speak of deeper forces, hidden layers of reality, and perceptions that ordinary senses cannot safely hold for long. We will treat those ideas softly tonight as lore and atmosphere, not as a chart that can be nailed to a wall. In the dreaming places of Artaeum, a monk might sit before a stone, a bowl, a crystal, or nothing at all. The tool matters less than the disciplined quiet around it. vision begins as pressure behind the eyes, then as a tone, a pale hum, a high thread of sound that seems to draw a circle in the mind. Beneath it, the low resonance continues, keeping the body present. This is the balance we want for the listener. The upper sound opens attention, and the lower sound anchors it. The order's scrying is not spectacle. It is careful witnessing. Prophecies can wound the one who receives them if they are treated like trophies. So the Psijics train secrecy, restraint, and interpretation. They know that the future is not only a thing to be predicted, it is a field of responsibility. In that field, even silence can be an act. Now we let the lore become simple again. Not smaller, only simpler. The old ways are not something we master by force. They are approached through attention. If you want to borrow a Psijic shape for meditation, begin with 3 quiet gestures. First, notice the body as an island. Feel its shore, the weight of the shoulders, the hands, the jaw softening, the breath arriving and leaving like a tide. Second, notice the mind as a tower. Do not climb every stair. Let thoughts move through the lower halls without needing to open each door. Third, notice time as a room you are already inside. There is no need to chase the next moment. Let this one become wide enough. In the Order's legacy, restraint is not weakness. Silence is not absence. Hiddenness is not refusal. These are forms of guardianship. Psijics stand at the edge between mortal life and forces too large to be handled carelessly. They remind us that knowledge can be gentle, and that power can be most profound when it does not demand to be seen. As the soundscape settles, allow the crystalline tones to fade first. Let the echoes shorten. Let the stone room hum sink into a deep, steady resonance. Artaeum recedes, not because it rejects us, but because some sanctuaries remain sacred by remaining partially unseen. The veil closes softly. The sea keeps breathing. And for a little while, we carry the tower's silence with us.